and welcome to the Tarkington. I'm Becky Meacham, the Director of Marketing here at Allied Solutions Center for the Performing Arts, and we are proud to present the 4th annual New Works Premiere Performances. The artist teams that you will see tonight went through 2 rounds of judging before being selected for their commission and have been working hard for months to develop the pieces that you will see being performed publicly for the first time tonight on our stage, so we're very excited about that. We're also excited to unveil our visual arts piece, which is in the lobby, so if you haven't had a chance to see that yet tonight, please take a chance on one of the breaks or after the show to stop by and see that. It will be installed at the Palladium, the Payne and Mencius Palladium after tonight for the next year. So we're excited about that, our 2nd visual arts commission as part of the project. We will have a talkback and Q&A session tonight after the performance, so please stick around for that if you're able to. There'll be a quick break, and then you're welcome to stay, scoot down if you want. You'll have a chance to ask questions of our artists about their process, their inspiration, how these pieces came to be, so that will be a great opportunity tonight as well. If you're not already familiar with the center, we are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to engage and inspire the Indiana community through enriching arts experiences. And we simply could not do that and present enriching arts and education programs like this one without the support of our generous volunteers, donors, and community partners. So thank you. And if you would like to support our mission, you can do that by visiting our website, thecenterpresents.org. You can also flip to the back side of that program and just scan that QR code. So with that, thank you again for being here, for supporting your local artists. I will take my seat and enjoy tonight's new works.
Waiting for spring to come, we find our refuge in the leaves fallen from mighty oak trees. Shelter we must from the chilled winds of winter. All throughout we will trust our time is near. Listen for spring to give her cue. Ground is warm, then we know it's time to grow. Many rely on the nectar within us, earliest risers to bloom in the spring. Queen bee stops by to fuel up on her journey, only air left hatching her colony. Listen for spring to give her cue. Ground turns warm, then we know it's time to grow. Springtime is a sight so divine. Ants bring our seeds to their layers below ground. Next generation sprouts up where they're found. No, it's not long before our time is over. Our beauty is fleeting, our service is done. Don't wait up, we'll be back real soon. Ground turns warm, then we know it's time to grow. The early bloomer of springtime is a sight so divine. The early bloomer of springtime is a sight so divine. The early bloomer of springtime is a sight so divine. Rain, rain, filed away, saved until a sunny day, slowed down on its descent towards the rushing river bend, makes the air that we breathe pure, saves it till we need some more. Bridge between the earth and sky, on your bounty we rely. Many other creatures too find that they depend on you. Even when you shrink away, there is life found in decay. Down, stabilizing this small town. They will long outlast us all, our friendly neighbors standing tall. And started here from just a seed, only taking what they need. Forest, farmland, then a lawn. Where have all the wild things gone? Seasons passing by, from your vantage point up high, things below have come and gone. A part of life is moving on. Time becomes a different thing when 1 year is just a ring. Small town, they will long outlast us all, our friendly neighbors standing tall. And started here from just a seed, only taking what they need. Forest, farmland, and a lawn. All the wild things gone. Da, la, da, da, da. Na, na, da, 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 da. Started here from just a seed, only taking what they need. Forest, farmland, gone. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us tonight. Before we perform our last piece, I'd like to say a couple of thank yous. Well, first, let me actually introduce this wonderful ensemble in front of you tonight. That's Christopher Pitts on the piano. That's Nick Tucker on the bass. And the other part of our team who is in the audience right now, Mitch Korolev. I'd like to thank the Center for the Performing Arts for awarding us this amazing opportunity to be in front of you today, and also congratulate the other artists that you will see in the rest of the evening, and it is quite an honor to be with such an amazing group of people. I'd also like to thank Josh, Rob, Liz, Becca, and the whole technical team for helping us out make this wonderful production for you tonight, and they've been such amazing people to work with, so we are really honored. I'd like to also thank Armin Mokzak for being a part of the next interview and song that you'll hear. He generously donated his time to help us with this project. I'd also like to thank Roger Hangarter for his guidance on location for filming and photographing fireflies in Bloomington. I'd like to thank the Indiana Native Plant Society for their help with this project, and they have also provided free native seed packets for anyone in the audience who might be interested. There is a table out front that you should see after the show. And I'd also like to thank my mom for her help with this project. And without further ado, our last song.
Fireflies are long-lived. They have a 2-year life cycle. And so the fireflies you see flying around and blinking are really the survivors of a lot of challenges. The males fly around and flash, and males of different species have different flight flash patterns. And the females sit in the vegetation and answer. And the female answer to the male flash is relatively simple, with a species-specific time delay. Making light is one thing, but bringing it under the control of an organ system and using it when you want it is a whole other thing. That's why we love them, right? They light up the sky, they make light. How magical is that? We're living through a more or less mass extinction when it comes to insects of all kinds. Why are insect populations declining? The number one cause is loss of habitat. I would say we're seeing just like nature blindness. There's just sort of an unawareness of what ought to be here, what is still here, and what we've lost. There is a lot of diversity hidden among the fireflies in South Central Indiana. Depending on which taxonomist you talk to, we may be home to as many as 50 different species. What we have here is really extraordinary, and it behooves people not to take it for granted, because indeed, once insect populations are diminished beyond a certain level, it's very hard for them to recover, especially something that has such a long life cycle as these guys do. If it's just your backyard, you can, again, by planting native plants, by not making it a lawn, make it a prairie or something, and by just reducing chemical usage. Things will come if you give them a chance.
Dancing in circles, they rival the stars. As we chase them and place them inside little jars, they wait their whole lives for this moment to glow. As they're searching for love, they put on this great show. Leave the leaves where they're laying. We don't need to be spraying. Share your home with your neighbors. Share the fruits of your labors. And sometimes we can feel so small, but the fact is we can change it all. And firefly, shine your light, although there may not be many more nights with these sights. Promise I won't forget. Now times are harder than they've ever been for our summertime bioluminescent friends. With city lights flashing, they've gotten confused, 'cause they can't travel far, but when staying they'll lose. Leave the leaves where they're laying. We don't need to be spraying. Share your home with your neighbors. Share the fruits of your labors. And sometimes we can feel so small, but the fact is we can change it all. Firefly, shine your light, although there may not be many more nights with these sights. Promise I won't forget. Leave the leaves where they're laying. We don't need to be spraying. Share your home with your neighbors. Share the fruits of your labors. Sometimes we can feel so small, but the fact is we can change it. Leave the leaves where they're laying. We don't need to be spraying. And share your home with your neighbors. Share the fruits of your labors. Sometimes we can feel so small. The fact is we can change it. Leave the leaves where they're laying. We don't need to be spraying. And share your home with your neighbors. Share the fruits of your labors. Sometimes we can feel so small. The fact is we can change it. Leave the leaves we don't need. Share your home. Share the fruits. And sometimes we can feel so small. The fact is we can change it all. And firefly, shine your light. We'll fight for there to be many more nights with these sights. Promise we won't forget. We will help you, our old friend.
In the beginning was the Word. Papa Reverend Parker Bird preached praise, perched high in the pulpit. The alphabet spells a spiritual. All can sing, but one will speak. My voice is a prayer empowered. Mama calls it pure poetry. A-E-I-O-U, a fugitive? When I grow up, you'll be the witness to these words, recording our existence. N-A-O, am I a poet? Invited to the schoolhouse, somehow stanza solve segregation. Mama taught one home in the nation. Lillian lays lyrically lettered lines, she writes what's on her mind. A poet's purpose is to make pain something palatable, a sentence sentiment to soothe the soul. Writing won't bring them back, but I see them in the rainbow's bend, in the ink spill arch of my quill pen, printing pressed in the wanting ad. They call me a prodigy. I know my ancestors are proud of me. What to do with all these letters when people don't have liberty? Sound it out, make it make sense, say life is memory in the past tense. Everything I know, they say they own, but I know this life's my own. Imagine, I can write my people, my race, myself into a better place on the page. Reading is essentially free from dumb. How will they know the news is true if they cannot read the headline or write what they are due? I learn my name first, then my letters. I can count on my fingers, tally the reasons for freedom. 2 L's, 3 L's, 2 I's, and I, Lillian May, can spell my why. Papa preached a bowl of listen. Mama serves free dough, piping hot from the kitchen. That perfect hail of shot and shell rained for years till Confederates fell, caught colored troops in dark blue suits. Union men saw enslavements end, their regiment, $7 spent a fraction's pay for wife's Freedom Day. Spirits came and gone, enlisted men, patriot sons, saw battles won on battered land. With tattered backs, they proudly stand, earth-colored hands swift to their heads, folded flags mark their dead. Another one caught contraband when freemen fought plantation plans. They, the radical Republicans, but can they count or read amends? Many men who saw their end on bloodied beds begged to begin a new nation under God. They go on as soldiers trod, a marching army to applaud, artillery, cavalry, infantry, chaplains too, carpenters, cooks, and nurses who won the war and fought for yours, civil rights through them was born. 180,000 men, that 10% were Afric's kin. My brother fell, I bid him well. I stand proud, his name I tell. Mark Dowry died in Jacksonville. I am the voice you did not chart, a compass drawn from every part, where maps were inked with pale intent. I rose, a voice of testament. Born beneath this bannered land, not foreign dust but native sand, I pledge the flag with equal breath and march beside through life or death. Don't call me shadow, second skin. I am the mirror looking in. Your cause is mine, our roots entwine. My ballad dreams, my right, it's time. They said my voice would not align, too bold, too dark, too out of line. But I am here with work to do, and freedom's call demands us too. Beside Miss Stanton's sharpened prose and Susan's fire, I too arose. We shook the stage in Chicago's hall and dared the nation hear us all. The westward wind has caught our cry, and New England bells reply. Across the sea the echoes stir, the voice of woman won't defer. We are the hands that built and bred, the hearts that rocked the words unsaid, but now we speak with pen and plume and write our justice into truth. So hear me now, the fight is mine. Though rooms are drawn on colored lines, I claim the vote not as a plea, but as my right inherently. Our romance began at the roots. His tender touch, a tool of trust, not lust, had me melting just as much as pomade warmed in the palm of ebony hands. An Indiana man moisturized the land between cornrows, watered my crown, and claimed by careful care soon sprout a season of new growth never before seen. Coming from a businessman who made his wage by cutting crops and curls and carving fades with a straight blade, I took this to mean his mirror has never witnessed a more beautiful thing than my coils. A canopy caught by the summer breeze couldn't shade my glowing smile, and locking eyes with his reflection in the mirror, I thought I'd stay a while in this black love. I married a tonsorial artist. Some may call him a barber or beautician, coiffeur or magician. His trade has the tendency of making men out of those missing dignity. He cares for the crowns of community, encourages unity, and considers the shop sacred. A place where hands can shape what words can't say, where loss is laid to rest in waves and curls remember those we keep. My locket holds our children's mane. In quiet hours, I learned the trade, the language of the shears, the art of lifting spirits, the pain washed clean in the shampoo bowl, the press and curl, the braid of strength. The shears became my sanctuary. Each lock I lift, each crown I tend, a quiet hymn of gentle hands, where every cut can help amend. In every snip and careful twist, I find a love that does not end, a craft to cherish, roots to keep, a healing touch that I can lend. Have you seen The Freeman? Black life becoming ink from Indiana Avenue, published every week. Stories and illustrations fill our broadsheets. Have you seen The Freeman? 6 colored men in Congress, 1,000 more in local legislation. Some call it political progress, but the bigger picture is birth of a nation. Have you seen The Freeman? Tuskegee Institute opens doors. Washington calls knowledge war's greatest weapon, surest shield, education's fertile field. Have you seen The Freeman? Schools burned down in Memphis rage, Reconstruction's darkest page. Teachers vow to build anew. Knowledge rises, tried and true. Have you seen The Freeman? Colored doctors heal the sick. Though white hospitals won't admit, Providence stands tall where Negro skill serves one and all. Have you seen The Freeman? Edmonia Lewis unveils new stone. Marble speaks in flesh and bone. Negro sculptors' rising fame, immortalizing freedom's name. Have you seen The Freeman? Jubilee singers tour abroad. Their spirituals praise the Lord. Fisk's choir moves the queen to tears. Sacred songs span hemispheres. Have you seen The Freeman? Negro Bank opens downtown. True reformers' wealth renown. Madam Walker builds her trade. Black Wall Street's foundation laid. Have you seen The Freeman? Negro enterprises thrive this year. Banks and markets reappear. Bowley streets with commerce hum. Self-reliance, freedom's sum. Have you seen The Freeman? Negro business districts bloom despite the laws of racial doom. Sweet Auburn, Greenwood thrive. Black commerce stays alive. Have you seen The Freeman? Negro baseball leagues take field. Talent that will never yield. Diamond dreams and leather glory. Writing our athletic story. seen the Freeman? Negro church raises healing funds. Yellow fever strikes everyone. Sisters tend both black and white. Death knows no colored lines. Have you seen the Freeman? World's Fair denies our rightful place. Activists fight for colored place. Chicago's Grand Exposition gleams while silencing our American dreams. Have you seen the Freeman? Temperance women take their stand, rum banned from the land. Domestic peace their battle cry, sober homes where children thrive. Have you seen the Freeman? Poll tax blocks the voting booth. Literacy tests hide the truth. Rights once won now slip away. Democracy's darkening day. Have you seen the Freeman? Convict lease brings slavery back. Chain gangs on the railroad track. Freedom's promise turned to lie. Bondage wearing new disguise. Have you seen the Freeman? Lynch mob strikes in dead of night. Justice blinded, truth takes flight. Countless souls lost to hatred's flame. No arrest, no justice, no shame. Have you seen the Freeman? Pages turn with history's tide. Truth and hope stand side by side. Torch and sword in printed hand, lighting paths, defending land. Have you seen the Freeman? Tales of triumph, tears, and woe. Pages turning, time will show. Freedom's light, then twilight's gloom. Reconstruction in Jim Crow's tomb. Have you seen the Freeman? Bearing witness, keeping score, through the peace and through the war. Chronicles of struggle and grace, a people's rising taking place. Thread the needle of a new nation. Hands of faith, no hesitation. Women gather, hum, and sew. In the wreckage, let hope grow. We stitch a quilt of bright design, with visions wide, though means are fine. No votes to cast, no seats to claim, yet every patch proclaims a name. For children lost to war's hard cost, for lungs that cough in winter's frost, for every soul in need of care, our needle's work becomes a prayer. A children's home, a place to mend, a club to stand, a truth to send. We quilt the future in each scene, a quiet act, a mighty dream. The meeting halls, the whispered plan, the work that lifts the race began, not in the halls of power sway, but in sewing circles day by day. Politics, not in marble halls, but in these humble, hopeful calls, to feed the weak, to teach the young, to turn our hymns to freedom song. A quilt is pieced by many hands, each scrap a story, each stitch strands, for strength that holds when worlds divide, the work of women dignified. So, thread the needle, bright and bold, with scraps of cloth and dreams of gold, we quilt a country's brand new dawn. Together stitched, we carry on.
To the side.
To the side.
To the side.
And around.
Through the middle.
To the side.
To the side.
To the side.
And around.
Through the middle.
To the side.
To the side.
To the side.
To the side.
To the side and around.
And around and around
And
and around
around.
through the middle.
To the side.
2, 3, 4,
And
5.
6, 7, 8.
Through the midpoint.
Of the line drawn from left side.
Out and left and around and around.
And around and around.
Out and left and around and around and around.
Square divided horizontally and vertically.
Cut the
in the form of
diamond.
one gray, one yellow, one red, one blue.
Following the grand swing through.
With a line centered on the axis.
Outline square. With a red horizontal.
Lines from the midpoint of each side.
The detail of the pattern is movement.
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 The detail of the pattern
Is movement.
The detail of the pattern is
The
movement.
detail.
The detail of the pattern.
The detail of the pattern is movement.
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 4,
The detail
5,
of the
6,
pattern.
7.
The detail of the pattern is movement.
The detail of the pattern is 7.
The detail of the pattern is movement.
3, 4,
The detail of the
5,
pattern.
6, 7.
The
The
detail
detail
of
of the pattern is movement.
The detail.
The detail of the pattern is movement.
What an amazing night of performing arts. Thank you all for being here. Let's have another round of applause for our artists. Scooch in, get comfy. This will just be a casual, fun conversation. We've got some mics down stage, front of house. So if you have a question for our artists, please make your way to the microphones and we'll kind of go back and forth to get us started. So to jump off, what I'll do is I'll have our artists introduce themselves and tell us what piece they're associated with, performing and visual. We saw some on stage, but some we did not. So we'll just get to know each other a little bit. So we'll start here.
Hello, my name is Christopher Pitts. I'm with the Wild Stories, so Emma Hedrick.
We're sharing mics up here.
My name is Mitch Korolev. I was the visual support for the Wild Stories project.
My name is Emma Hedrick, and I was also with Wild Stories.
My name is Box the Artist. I am the visual artist, creating the piece Movements Like a Verse Unwritten.
Good evening. My name is Ming Joy Washington. My work was sister suffragists Naomi Anderson and Lillian Thomas Fox.
And I'm Abby Marchessault, and I was the choreographer for Blueprint of a Piece Ascending, the dance piece at the end.
Thank you all again. I will start us off. I have a question. Box, I would like to start with you. I'm curious what inspired Movements Like a Verse Unwritten, your piece, and what do you hope viewers take away from it?
Wonderful question. So what inspired Movements from a Verse Unwritten? It's so many different things. The piece is actually from an original photography series that I created entitled The Women in Between. And it was a series where I focused on local women in the community that were often overlooked, local Black women, women within the LGBTQ spectrum, and really just giving them their flowers. So throughout this process, I was able to meet so many amazing different women and hear their stories. And there was one woman that stuck out. Her name was Faith. And everything about her was movement. It was language. It was vibration. It was just rhythm and blues and all of the beautiful things. So it inspired me. And throughout our photography series, I took so many photos that I never got to display. And I'm like, I really want to create something. It really inspired me to keep creating from those pieces. So with this opportunity, it gave me the opportunity to be able to intertwine just the vibration and the movement that I experienced just through interacting with her. And also understanding just the evolution of identity and the evolution of society, the evolution of people, and how we are all ever evolving, ever growing. So ultimately, that is the inspiration behind the piece, and I hope people are able to receive just inspiration, and grace, knowing that we're all changing, we're all growing, and knowing that we're a forever draft. I say this very often. There is no final form, as long as we're still here.
Thank you. I'm curious, where can our audience see more of your work?
You can connect with me on all social media platforms, Box the Artist, that's BOXX the Artist, Facebook, Instagram, all of the socials. My website is www.boxtheartist.com. So fairly simple, and you may catch me outside painting a mural. If you're in the Indianapolis region, I'm working on a project right now at MLK Park, and I also have a project coming up at Fletcher Place in the Fountain Square neighborhood, and just a few more, opportunities to really intertwine. But that's pretty much where I'm at, inside, outside, online.
Thank you. Any questions from our audience? Okay, well, I'll keep on going because I've got a lot. Emma, I would love to know how you chose the topic for your project and how did you narrow in on the 3 subjects, which I believe were spring, and I'm going to butcher this, ephemerals, oak tree, and fireflies?
Yeah, so this is native plants, and just the natural space around us has been something on my mind recently, and my mom has gotten very involved with the native plant scene here in Indiana and has changed my childhood backyard a lot to kind of reflect a lot of that learning, and so that's been very inspiring to be around that. And then Mitch also does a lot of work out in the field and has shared a lot of stories, and we have that in common. So when the opportunity kind of came up where we could collaborate on something, I was like, okay, we definitely have this, the Venn diagram, this could be a topic between us. And then we were discussing the 3 kind of feature subjects, I guess, for our pieces, and we thought it would be nice to maybe pick some things that are different in the ecosystem. Like oak is a keystone species, and it provides a lot to the plants and animals, which you saw, and so that's a kind of a bigger contributing thing, and they live for a very long time, whereas spring ephemerals are very short-lived, and they come up every year, but just for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a month or 2, depending on the species. And then we also thought something like fireflies that we probably all have a memory with and all relate to. It could be nice to shine a different light on those as well.
Thank you. Any questions from our audience? Okay. Oh, yes. Could you make your way to a microphone? Thank you. Just so we can all hear your question.
I was wondering, I know some of the areas you filmed and took pictures, Mitch, but where are some of the areas that you filmed and took pictures? And then also, what was the process in coordinating the music with the artwork?
Oh, good question. Well, we wanted to have all of the footage and photography be within the state, given that this is about Indiana. So that was our first parameter. And I'm lucky to have a bit of a home field advantage because I grew up here. So I knew a few spots that I could guarantee I could get a certain sort of shot. So even an area as small as like Flowing Well, which is like just down the street, it's not super big, but you can get a lot of wildlife, you can get a lot of interesting nature shots, even in a small area. So Flowing Well was a big one, Eagle Creek, Cool Creek, and then the fireflies were the really tricky one because they are not guaranteed to come out at the right time for a project like this. So coming in, that was the big point of stress, but we collaborated with a couple of Indiana University professors, namely Roger Hangarter, and he was such a wealth of information for where we should go around Bloomington to find these fireflies. So all of the footage you saw was thanks to him, and that was just outside of town. I think those were the main spots. And then I guess like the construction site wasn't any of those. That was just like a little ways down. I was looking for little areas where I could like sort of highlight what it looks like when these spaces are changed. Did that answer your question? Oh, the music. Oh gosh. So Emma wrote the lyrics before I filmed anything. So especially for that second song with the oak trees, From a Seed, I was trying to pair what she had written with what I could find in nature. And she knocked it out of the park. It was like perfectly timed.
Thank you. Thank you for your question as well. Ming, how did you first come across Naomi Anderson and Lillian Fox's stories, and what kind of legacy do you feel like they've left for us?
Thank you for that question. I was introduced to Naomi Anderson a few years ago by the Celebrating Naomi Anderson Committee based in Michigan City, Indiana. They recognize Anderson, who is a poet, a suffragist, an activist, with a monument. It is the first monument for a Black woman in the state, the second for a woman, and Bernard Williams designed and constructed that monument in Michigan City. I performed then at the opening, and really the Celebrating Naomi Anderson Committee pioneered research in uncovering her legacy, which I then picked up through the Library of Congress archives chronicling America. I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of newspaper entries looking for Naomi Anderson and Lillian Thomas Fox, who was a journalist here in Indianapolis writing for the Freeman for 15 years. I owe them a lot. I, as a Black woman writer, I sit in their legacy, but I also follow the tradition prior to them in the 18th century to Phyllis Wheatley, the first published Black poet in the United States. And it continues in the 21st century. I'm joined and in conversation with many Black women writers, generations before me, and including my generation.
Wow, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the research effort to uncover the loss of Black women's stories through history?
Yes, so at the time Naomi Anderson was introduced through the Celebrating Naomi Anderson Committee, there was one known poem that they could find, the Centennial Poem. In my research, I unveiled a second poem titled Woman. It was published in the Freeman, which is a Black newspaper. I also, for Lillian Thomas Fox, went through, she wrote a weekly column called Friendly Reminders, and it was both news of happenings around town as well as kind of, the sayings that your mother or grandmother might pass down. So that was really fun to read their words, but they're sandwiched between hyper-local news in Indianapolis, such as on Indiana Avenue, as well as national news and Black coverage. It was one of the widest circulating Black newspapers in the 19th century, and also was distributed internationally. So they cover news in South Africa, they covered news in England, they covered news in the southern states, which is all very pivotal in a time where Black folks are not only gaining freedom, but this right towards education and access and literacy, which is still very important.
Yes, thank you. Any questions out there? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come on down. Find a microphone. We're getting cozy. Here we go.
Ming, congratulations and greetings from the Celebrating Naomi Anderson Committee in Michigan City, Indiana.
Thank you. Hi,
Naomi
Nancy.
Anderson's hometown and your hometown also. So I do have a question. I picked up 3 different expressions of word in your performance. One was the spoken word, one was the written word, and then the other was the visual word. So would you please comment on those?
Of course, thank you so much. I will start with spoken word. I began my writing practice in spoken word spaces, mainly through slam poetry, but that graduated into a writing practice that primarily responds to visual art and visual art by Black people. That form is called ekphrastic poetry. I studied art history, so the visual arts are very important to me. The visuals that you saw were a mix of archival imagery of Indiana Avenue, of Harriet Powers' quilt was the closing scene. The earlier images like Black marriage scenes or barbershops, I was pulling from the archives. And then the silhouetted images were meant to, kind of stand in for some of the faces and places and people and names that are unknown, and also kind of in homage to Kara Walker, who's an artist I greatly admire. In terms of the written word, the poems, a lot of them are written in meter, which is not my typical style, but I adopted from reading a lot of entries from 19th century newspapers. Many of the poets published were writing in fairly strict forms, which I tried to emulate in this piece. Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Abby, your piece's title is Blueprint of a Point Ascending, and it makes us focus on the central apex there on the set. What does that point signify, and what does that mean to you in your work?
Yeah, thanks. I was really inspired for this piece by a lot of architectural and sculptural work. And so looking at a mathematic or an architectural definition of a point as the intersection of two lines, and thinking about the fact that points exist in those intersections because those two lines will never be the same. They cannot be the same line by definition. And so kind of extrapolating that into a more human space, points exist, and these points of intersection exist because we can never be the same. And so it kind of became this fifth character, if you will, in this exploration of space. And so it was started out as kind of a boundary or kind of a delineation of space, kind of became this opportunity for opening, for moving, for closing, going up and down, going side to side. And using tension or lack of tension to kind of do those things. I was also really inspired by the work of a sculptor by the name of Kenneth Snelson, who pioneered the idea of tensegrity, so using tension across materials to create structural integrity, so tensegrity, tension, and integrity. And so using this idea of tension, of difference between people or things or ideas to kind of create a form or a shape or a thing that has integrity and has the ability to be built up and can last in an upward space.
So interesting. I'm curious, knowing that inspiration behind your piece, how did your piece develop from your initial kind of vision and through the work with your choreography and with your dancers?
I was really inspired by the dancers, I have to say, so props to them. I actually did not have a set cast when I developed the idea for this piece, and the workshopping that I had done was with an entirely different group of dancers with a very different skill set. And so bringing these 4 dancers into the piece was a real treat, but also I didn't know half of them when I first started. So getting to know their skills and how they worked was kind of a meta experience of what we were trying to uncover in the first place, which was how do you identify yourself, identify other people, in a space, in an interaction, and then where do you go from there to make it work? So a lot of our rehearsals were just kind of, I have an idea of what I want to accomplish, how do we make that happen? And then a lot of trial and error from there and letting things surprise us, or going back to square one and starting all over again. So it was a lot of playful exploration and then finding a lot of meaningful visual images along the way.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. We like the end product. Any questions from our audience? Yes, great. Thank you.
Is it kosher if I ask a question for each of the artists?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. First question for Box the Artist. Teach us what a triptych is and why you decided to pick that form. Is it okay if I let you think for a second while I pose the other artists their questions? Is that cool? Okay. For our folks who used jazz, and so I'm looking at Emma and Chris and also Ming Joy and the whole troupe. Don't quote me on this, but I think Langston Hughes says something like, at one point, jazz is both the foreground and the background of life. And it seems like that's an accurate statement for how we use jazz. It can be the music on the elevator. It can be the most phenomenal piece of music you've ever heard, and you can't pay attention to anything other than the jazz. Why did your respective pieces draw on that particular genre of music? Why did it have to be that? Why could it be nothing other than jazz? And how has it just kind of changed the genre of the music to suddenly be used for, let's call them activist causes, right? Be it ecological awareness, an awareness of kind of the traditions and roots we have within the Black lineage and Black traditions. So why jazz, and what's happening to jazz when we use it the way you're using it? Abby, tough question for you. Why is it yellow?
Who wants to start, I guess?
Let's start with Bach, since he posed that question first. Put you on the spot again first, sorry.
I mean, overall, when we think about evolution, I believe that if we're thinking about form and I want to say free flow, like starting off, like the title of my piece is actually, for me, it's called Flow. It's freestyle. So a verse unwritten is a freestyle. So when we think about different genres, especially in particular, like if we're referencing jazz music, the different ensembles and the different instruments, it has to create a flow and a rhythm together, right? Sometimes there isn't a particular cadence. Sometimes there isn't a particular format. The music evolves based off of the rhythm and the flow and identity and being able to relate. It evolves. It evolves. With my piece in particular, it's odd that I didn't even really consider that all of our pieces kind of intertwine with jazz, because that's literally in my written statement. But when I think about jazz, I always think about the forefront of the movement of music and the way the instruments can relate together, and the way that they can congregate, the way that they can engage and marry one another or divorce one another, and just co-create together.
The triptych?
Can you explain to us what a triptych is? And in relation to your piece.
Okay, well, completely off tangent. I want to say in relation to my piece, ultimately, it's evolution. It is the formation of freestyle and flow. It is the I want to say, if we consider the foundation of the original, I want to say, the original, not character, what is it? The original person that's in my piece, the main focus. With that, having the evolution of that, being able to evolve, being able to flow, and being able to just really see the transition, from expressionism, the transition from realism, and the different tools, used to create this variety that we see.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, we love it. And then let's start. Yeah, Ming, do you want to take the jazz question?
Sure, thank you for your question. I am greatly honored to be accompanied by the Noblesville High School Jazz Combo. They are incredibly fantastic. To, add a little flavor to the spoken word, but also to honor Black American art forms. My people are from New Orleans. I grew up in a jazz-filled household, and kind of, sitting in the pockets and finding the rhythm, and also just like enlivening the words was my intention with working with the band. Thank you.
How about you?
Okay. As far as why jazz, I think Emma and I both have a jazz background. We could be considered jazz musicians. But I think maybe why it works for this is it's focused on improvisation and relationality. And that's kind of the theme of the story, our relation to the environment, and that circular relationship is important and something that we needed to highlight. It was also part of our research, the book that we read You can speak on that, Emma, if you want. Oh, what is the book called? What's the title again? The first one, Nature of, Braiding Sweetgrass, where we talked about the relation of native groups and the land and how we've kind of lost touch with that. So I think, our focus on the relationality of the music and how that intertwines with the relationality of the people and the environment. So that's kind of why it works. Like, why jazz? That's our medium, and so maybe that's an answer.
How about you, Abby?
Yeah.
Why yellow? There's a practical answer and there's a more inspirational academic answer, I guess. And the practical answer is that I'd never used it before and wanted to give it a go. And most other colors that I'd kind of worked with or kind of thought with now had meaning to me that I didn't want to bring into a new piece, so I needed to start from scratch, and yellow was a good place to jump off. But I stuck with it, I think, because it added this kind of, I didn't want to do something super contrasting with like a black and a white. I wanted it to be a little more nuanced than that, so it added a nice contrast and a nice kind of delineation with the costuming and with the dancers that wasn't just, it wasn't so harsh, I guess. And I think, especially with the lighting, huge props to Liz, wherever you are, for your awesome lighting. It also added this kind of like golden, optimistic kind of aura, which was really awesome. And then I can't take credit for this, but something that somebody mentioned to me yesterday was that it added this kind of layered meaning of caution tape at a construction site, which was a nice coincidence, I guess. But I think also kind of drove home the point that I was trying to get at in the first place, which was this idea of constructing something, or of this blueprint, this building, and trying to piece together this thing that might fall apart but hopefully stays together. And that takes work, and that takes effort, and that takes risk, and maybe you'll fall, and maybe you need a hard hat. So there's all these associations with yellow, I guess, that have kind of emerged since then.
Thank you. Great questions. I think we have room for maybe one more quick question, if there are any from the crowd. Okay, well, I will leave us with one last one then, and it's for you, Emma. What can we do, the average person, do to support native plants and animals here in Indiana?
That's a great question. I touched on it a little bit in the songs, but I can't say too much without it not sounding like a song anymore, so it's great to have a little time to talk. So something that's interesting about the United States is most of the land in the United States is privately owned, so that means your backyard is the best place to start with a change like this. So planting native plants, as Armin mentioned in the interview, is just a great way to start kind of returning things to the environment that they were once before, as you heard maybe in the Oak Tree song, that a lot of Indiana was originally primarily forests, and then it was all basically developed into farms, and now it's kind of going back between those things, but that restarted a lot of the ecosystems here, and a lot of the trees are not very old because they just have been growing for 100 years. Even the state parks here in Indiana are pretty recent. So these are all just things that are basically, it's up to us to make the next step in a lot of ways. So planting native plants. Another thing that you can do is leaving leaf litter. That's very helpful for fireflies because they live in the ground and in the leaf litter for 2 years before they actually go up and fly or stay on the ground and make their light. And so anything that you do removing their habitat or using chemicals in your lawn is also something that can be very harmful to the wildlife. They end up eating that, and obviously it's not good for them. So these are just small steps that you can take. I think there's like a lot of Indiana Native Plant Society people here tonight, so maybe you can, if you have questions, just link up with one of them. There's the seed packets out as well. And maybe Mitch, if you have anything to add too.
Oh my gosh, so many good insights. I guess I can just say that in my full-time job, I'm an environmental scientist, and It's unfortunate, but environmental scientists aren't really trained to be communicators. They're trained to research, and then communicators aren't necessarily trained to understand the science. So there's this little gap in between the knowledge that we have and the knowledge that is shared, and figuring out ways to bridge that gap, even if it's within your own personal understanding of a topic, is a great place to start too, because a lot of knowledge is out there, but the scientific community as a whole isn't the best at getting the word out. And that's part of the inspiration for this project, because no one really wants to read a dense scientific paper, but this is a little more palatable and hopefully left some good takeaways.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for our artists again tonight. Thank you for sharing your stories, your inspirations, and your creativity with us tonight. And thank you for being here. We'll call that a night. Get home safe and come back and visit us here at the Allied Solutions Center for the Performing Arts.